It's 11:58 p.m. on the night you finally become an adult. Your mother is holding a hefty bag like it's a holy offering. Your father is counting the seconds until the clock strikes 12, because the minute you turn 18, the law says he can't hit you without it being assault. Your big brother leans against the doorframe, smirking, phone in hand, recording the birthday show. And you, still in the cupcake-stained pajamas you've worn since sophomore year, are on your knees, scooping every possession you own into 2 black contractor bags that smell like cat litter. Happy birthday, sweetheart. Welcome to adulthood. My name is Riley Quinn, and 12 years after that night, I signed the papers that made every single person who laughed in that hallway homeless. This is the story of how I went from trash bag baggage to the name on the deed of their worst nightmare. Stay till the end, because the last signature I put on that contract felt better than any candle I never got to blow out. Quick favour, if you've ever been told you're too soft, too dramatic, or you'll never make it without us, hit that like button so hard the algorithm feels it in its teeth. Subscribe, and let's serve justice together, cold, calculated, and garnish level pretty. I grew up in a house that looked postcard perfect. 2 stories, butter yellow siding, American flag twitching above the porch like it was trying to escape too. Dad sold insurance. Mum sold the illusion we were functional. My older brother Chase was the crown prince. I was the faulty appliance they kept meaning to return. Chase could burn the garage down and get a high five. I could breathe too loudly and get a 2-hour lecture on ingratitude. The first time I realized love was conditional, I was 6. Chase had shredded my only library book to make paper snowflakes. I cried. Mum said, "Stop acting like the world owes you." She knelt, gripped my shoulders so hard her nails left 4 perfect crescents in each arm, and whispered, "You are not special, Riley. You're extra. Remember that." The sentence tattooed itself on the inside of my eyelids. Every night when I closed them, I saw it in her lipstick font. Extra. By 16, I was the family's live-in Cinderella, minus the fairy godmother and the waistline. I cooked, scrubbed, filled out Dad's backlogged claims paperwork for under-the-table pay that never materialized. My GPA was 3.98, but they told me community college was aspirational enough for someone like you. Chase, meanwhile, flunked 2 semesters and got a brand new Silverado wrapped in a giant red bow. Same driveway, same week my college fund mysteriously disappeared. When I asked about it, Dad laughed so hard his face turned purple. Fund? That was never for you. That was the keep Chase out of jail fund. The morning of my 18th started with Mum bursting into my room, holding a clipboard like a search warrant. "Inventory time," she sang. She catalogued every item the family had ever paid for, mattress, pillow, even the outlet covers. Then she pointed to the 2 black contractor bags on the floor. "You have until midnight to make these fit. After that, I call Sheriff Miller." Chase leaned in, filming vertically like the true psychopath he is. "Make it quick, Piglet. I need the room for my new gym." I remember the sound my heart made. Not break, more like a vending machine when your bag of chips gets stuck. A mechanical clunk. I stuffed photo albums, a single teddy bear with one eye, and the cracked laptop I'd bought babysitting neighbour kids. Everything else, extra. At 12:03 a.m., Dad opened the front door. January in Pennsylvania is a wolf in winter coat. The wind slapped me so hard my ears rang. No coat. Mum said it was theft because she'd paid for it. I stood on the porch in sock feet, holding 2 bags that looked like body bags for midgets. Behind me, the lock clicked. Porch light off. Inside, I heard them singing, off-key, sloppy but unmistakable. Happy birthday to you. They were celebrating without me, like you celebrate taking out the trash. I walked 17 miles to the only friend I had left, Marisol, who worked graveyard at a 24-hour laundromat. She let me sleep on a dryer top until my spine molded to the shape of the lint trap. That first dawn, I promised myself 2 things. 1, I would never again beg for shelter. 2, one day they would feel the weight of every zipper tooth I dragged across that asphalt. I got 3 jobs: Starbucks opener, Target closer, and weekend telesurveys that paid $10 per completed script. I lived on free vanilla syrup shots and the smell of other people's fabric softener. Every night I'd crawl into the back office of the laundromat, crack the half-broken laptop, and teach myself to code from YouTube videos captioned by angels. HTML felt like origami made of light. Fold here, tag there. Suddenly something exists that didn't before. For the first time in my life, I could create instead of scrub. I coded until the sun came up the color of Chase's Silverado. Ironic, motivational, hideous. 6 months in, I entered a collegiate hackathon under a fake school name. Prize, $5,000, and mentorship with some Silicon Valley angel investor I'd never heard of. I won. Not second, not third, flat out. The check smelled like laser toner and possibility. I used it to file LLC paperwork. Quintessential solutions. Quinn, my name, my solutions, my terms. Year 1 revenue, $72,000. Year 2, $1.2 million. By 24, I'd built a SaaS platform that auto-translates medical paperwork for rural hospitals. Boring, niche, wildly profitable. Marisol became COO. We hired only people who'd aged out of foster care or been homeless. Our conference rooms had washers and dryers in them, on purpose. Every time I signed paychecks, I felt the ghost of those contractor bags shrinking. Revenge wasn't on the menu, until the day Chase slid into my LinkedIn DMs. Hey, lil sis, long time. Heard you're doing tech stuff. Crazy world. Mum's sick. Hospital bills. Any chance you could spot a few grand? We family after all. I stared at the pixelated beer emoji he ended with. My pulse did that vending machine clunk again. I screenshotted it, sent it to Marisol. She replied with one gif. Oprah shouting, "You get a car!" Only she'd photoshopped my face onto Oprah and karma onto the car. I laughed until my ribs rattled. Then I opened a new folder on my desktop titled Fruit Roll-Ups. Time to share. Step 1. Intelligence. I paid a PI to pull every public record on my family. Tax liens, mortgage arrears, Chase's 2 DUIs, Mum's secret credit cards. Dad had refinanced the house 3 times. They owed $287,000 on a home worth maybe $190,000. They were one missed payment from the cliff edge. I just needed to offer them a gentle nudge in designer heels. Step 2. Bait. I created a shell company, Heritage Horizon Properties. Through a proxy, I mailed them a glossy flyer. We buy homes fast, cash, as is. 10 days later, Dad called the burner line. I listened to the voicemail on speaker, his voice older, raspier, but still carrying that patented condescension. I got a house, little steep on upkeep, want out before winter. Don't try to lowball me, I know what I got. I played it on loop until I could recite every comma. Step 3. Roleplay. I hired Jeremy, a Broadway actor who does regional commercials, to pose as Mr. Hawthorne, acquisitions manager. Salt and pepper wig, tortoiseshell glasses, voice like hot tea with bourbon. We staged meetings at a fake office we rented for a month, plush leather, smell of non-existent coffee, receptionist who doubled as my accountant. Jeremy lowballed. 180,000 cash, close in 10 days. Dad countered at 220,000, pretending he had 3 other buyers circling. Jeremy yawned, literal Oscar-worthy yawn, and said, "Best I can do is 210, but I need an answer by Friday. We're buying up the whole block for data center cooling vents. Your neighbors already signed." I'd spent the previous month purchasing option contracts on every neighboring property for $500 each. Dad drove around, saw Heritage Horizon stakes in every lawn. Fear of missing out, his favorite emotion, did the rest. He signed. 10 days later, a wire hit his account. He never noticed the buyer's fine line. Assignee rights transferable to parent holdings. Translation, I could flip the deed to myself whenever I wanted. Step 4. Eviction notice. I waited 6 months, let them blow through the cash paying Chase's gambling debts. Then I mailed a 30-day vacate letter on attorney letterhead. Reason? Owner move-in. Signed, sealed, delivered by a process server who wore body cam for my personal highlight reel. Dad called the number listed, screaming. My secretary patched him to me. I lowered my voice 2 octaves, held my nose. "Mr. Quinn is in meetings all week. Leave a voicemail." He left 12. I keep them on a private playlist titled Classical Music. They requested a sit-down. I chose the date, July 14th, my 28th birthday. Location, the living room that used to be mine. I arrived early, sat at the dining table, the same honey oak slab where I'd eaten punishment oatmeal for 18 years. I placed a single bakery box in the center, confetti frosting, 8 candles, 1 extra for growth. They walked in looking smaller, greyer. Mum's eyes were hollow sockets where arrogance used to live. Chase wore the same smirk, but it wobbled when he saw me. Dad went straight to bluster. "You can't do this. Squatters' rights. We'll sue." I slid the deed across the table, my name embossed like Braille. "Happy birthday to me." Silence so thick I could hear the neighbour's sprinkler 2 lawns over. Chunk, 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 like a heartbeat on life support. Mum started to cry. "Riley, honey, we're family." I opened the bakery box, pulled out the cupcake, peeled the paper slowly. Rip, like a band-aid off a scar. "Family," I repeated, tasting the word, "is a fruit roll-up. You stretch it too far, it snaps." I told them they had 14 days. I'd cover moving boxes, contractor bags in fact, black ones, extra thick. Chase lunged. Security, 2 guys who used to sleep at the laundromat, escorted them onto the porch. As the door closed, I sang, off-key, sloppy but unmistakable, "Happy birthday to me." They scattered to extended relatives who'd heard rumours and suddenly had no spare bedrooms. The house sat empty for a month while I decided its fate. I could have turned it into a data centre, dog shelter or giant bonfire. Instead, I donated it to a local non-profit that houses LGBTQ+ teens rejected by their families. We kept the honey oak table, chopped it up, built a picnic bench for the backyard where kids now share pizza instead of insults. I kept 1 splinter in a glass vial on my keychain, a reminder, splinters dig deep, but eventually the skin grows over, stronger, thicker, bulletproof glass. People say revenge is a dish best served cold. I disagree. I served mine warm, right out of the oven, 8 candles melting into icing that tasted like closure. Karma's just karma, unless you're the chef, then it's cuisine. If this story lit a furnace in your gut, drop a like fiercer than my mum's eviction smile. Comment below, what's the one piece of closure you're still waiting to serve? Subscribe for daily revenge sagas, where the underdog doesn't just bark, we bite. We build empires, and we never apologize for the teeth marks. See you in the next one. Stay ruthless.